Here, Glenn Pash, the PCG Podcast. First episode. Awesome. I am here with Melissa. Melissa, please introduce yourself.
So I'm Melissa Cartagena. I'm the Senior Director of Digital Advertising at AutoNation.
Great. So two things I wanted to talk to you about is we're here at DMSC Digital Marketing Strategies Conference. You attend a lot of, you've come to our events, you're part of CXO. Why do you think it's important to come out, or what value do you get out of coming to conferences like this?
So the value I get is education. Mm-hmm. I like to ensure that I keep my finger on the pulse and know what everybody's doing in the industry, and also talk with the partners that offer the best of the best in terms of marketing or any other type of things that I could utilize within my toolkit.
Okay, and do you spend some time checking in with your current vendor partners?
I do.
As well?
I do that too. We tend to have, and sometimes that's where the best meetings happen,
right,
is when you're in this scenario. So those are always great, like from an ADA to this. Mm-hmm. So that coupled with the education piece, I think is truly key.
Right. Yeah, and we've had a few sessions already here, and just hearing that collaboration where people are saying, oh, I heard you mention something, mm-hmm, I have the same thing, and you end up creating your own little maybe 20 group of people that you meet, and then you stay in touch and you don't feel so alone sometimes, especially
that's
the marketers
so true.
Feel like I'm the only one who goes through this,
mm-hmm,
and all of a sudden now you have
a community of people.
Exactly. You have
yes,
a lifeline. Yeah, for the CXO group, I think that the WhatsApp group that we have is a lifeline to a lot of people.
It
because
is.
Then you can reach out and say, what about this? What about this? And there was a new dealer group who came to the CXO event, and they said, I can't believe how many people are trying to help me. There is this idea that sometimes dealerships are so competitive, I won't help you. Mm-hmm. They were blown away by how much people were offering help. Mm-hmm. Here, take my number, give me a call.
Well, I think when a lot of people, for me, when I first started in the auto industry, I found it very strange that there wasn't, I thought there wasn't a community.
Right.
And over the years, I found out there really was a community that you could reach out to. And when I left auto for a period of time, it was hard because I missed that community so
right,
much. And they do offer help when you lean in, when you lean in to accept it. But when you're first starting out, for people that just start out in the automotive industry, they come to these events and they know nobody and they walk around aimlessly.
Yes.
But when you have that community, you have that connection,
right,
and you do learn from those folks. And truly, I'm a true believer of, the knowledge that I have, I want to share with others.
Right.
And I want that same thing from somebody else to reciprocate to me. So that's how important it is to stay connected.
No, and I think that's really good. So all of you folks, you should be going out to more conferences, but it also has to be the type that is designed to network and to communicate versus there's some that are just so big. So let's pivot now. So in your role overseeing the marketing, what's your focus for the rest of this year, or some of the things you're working on? And then if you could wave the magic wand and fix one aspect of the marketing that you're struggling with, what would that be?
So this year, much like many other years prior, it's about efficiency. Mm-hmm. So ensuring that our dollar goes further, right, and that we're driving the right revenue for the company, that we're making sure that our campaigns are set up accurately, and that we're not wasting dollars.
Right, exactly.
I have a fiduciary responsibility to the organization. I want to make sure that we're spending our dollars wisely. One of the challenges that we always face, though, is just with some of the aspects of what we do, everything we do has to be at scale because we have so many stores.
Right.
So we really introduce a lot of things that allow us to be more dynamic in nature. So from our banner advertising to be dynamic, I'm sure people have heard the term DCO before, dynamic creative optimization, and it's instilling that into our video, because video has been the hardest thing for us to scale forever. There's no API for YouTube. How do you scale YouTube when you have 300 stores, right? How do you do it anyplace else? So running it similarly to how we run our DCO for banners is where I really want to be, but the challenges we face is all the collection of data that you have to pull in to bring that video to fruition. So you have to have the video components, but then you also have to know in real time and action in real time to an individual what they're looking for at the right time that they're looking for it within the confines of a video.
And also making sure that the video looks good or doesn't look so stock, and I know the whole AI video will just eventually, but I think it's that combination, like you're saying, how do I dynamically push out video versus I have to go out and record an individual video and send it to you, and that still, I think, is effective if a salesperson goes out. But what you're talking about is, how do I do across all these advertising platforms? How do I, with all the models, with all the stores, how do I do that without having it to be manual or just go, I have to wait for a product to come out?
Like, even if you had 25 or 30 stores, the issue still remains that you can shoot several videos for each of those individual stores, but then to traffic those videos, to run them anywhere, at any time, is very difficult to do in a short period of time when offers have to be out during a specified period of time in the month. So I can't just take video that's been created for television and have someone consume it digitally in a fashion that is going to work fast. Just like within 24 to 48 hours, I need that live. It usually takes a whole lot longer. So when you introduce the dynamic components to it, you can get it done in the 24 to 48 hours because you have pieces of it that you create a template, and then you can insert information that you've already created previously with data feeds and information that you can feed to it. But it's not an easy task, and we find ourselves constantly QAing and finding errors here or there because it's not always perfect. Images aren't always perfect when you want to match it to a specific offer. Things of that nature is what makes it a little more complicated. So there really hasn't been, there have been companies that can do it, but it's still not perfect. And I don't expect perfection.
No, but I think
I need it to be a little more seamless.
And you're right. There are
less manual interaction.
There's companies that can create these videos, but even to what you're saying is how quickly can they chop it and dice it for certain platforms to not even give it back to me to do it, but how could we push it out and take this and say, okay, well, now it'll be on Instagram and that it's going to go over here, it's going to go here, over here, with theoretically a touch of a button, but making sure that it does meet your compliance standards, does match up, which is...
That's the hardest part.
That's the biggest part. It is really hard. So what is something that, like a project you're working on besides the video, is there anything that you're seeing? I know we're talking a lot here about data, and you guys are a little further down the road with that. But if someone, let me change the question then. If someone's out here leaving this conference and they want to go down the road of, let's say, data hygiene, longer down the road they think CDP is the answer for them, what's something that you would advise them to pay attention to, either in the planning or even before you start to launch this? What's something that you learned that you say, pay attention to that?
So there are a lot of people talking about it, and there are a lot of people that are in depth with it at this point. Your brother Brian has put out a ton of articles with tons of information, so I would say do your research first. Really dig in and read those articles, because there are tidbits and nuggets in there that you have to know before you enter into this whole plan of trying to get to implementing a CDP, or even just cleaning your data or activating audiences, whatever it is. You have to do the research for. You can't just dive in, and don't just take one person's word. Like, ask a lot of questions and connect with those that actually have done it and gone down that path, because that will help you create the list of questions that you need to have and the things that you need to look out for, how long it might take you, how long is your planning going to be, how do I present this as a business case to my executive leadership team. Like, all of those things have to be thought about ahead of time. And connecting with your internal teams to make sure they understand what the need is too, so that you're all on the same page. Because if you don't have buy-in from everyone, it's just going to turn into a train wreck.
And we'll sort of end on that, because I had a conversation with someone last night who was in the middle of this, and it's already, but they felt so behind someone else. I said, you have to stop comparing yourself to someone else. And for those of you starting, you haven't had this already. So this is not something that's, oh, I went to a vendor and it's fixed.
Exactly.
To your point is, there's a lot of people who you have to first understand what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
So then you can go find the right technology partner, because everyone's going to tell you they're a CDP or a MAP or marketing automation or a combination of both. But the question really is, what is it you're trying to accomplish? Because that vendor may not be right for you.
Right.
And then, like you're saying, is go to the conferences, read the information, talk to people, and say, I'm not going to do anything, but I'm going to take the next 6 months and learn.
Right.
And take that
and
time
be okay
to really,
with it.
And be okay
be
with
okay
that.
with it.
Because I think once you do that, then I think you can start to accelerate.
Right.
Someone said it the other day who was saying it's like a camel hump. That first part of the thing
Hardest
can seem
part.
daunting.
Right.
And then once you have that knowledge, then you can go, oh, I can start talking to the
Right.
right people. I think this is the right
And now it
person.
makes sense. Then it becomes,
sense.
but it's like anything else. Like if you're trying to vet partners for any type of technology, it's just like that. You just have to make sure you vet them appropriately,
Right.
and asking the right questions and talking to people that have already done it will only help you get there. Maybe not faster, because I don't want to say you want to get there fast, because it's at your own pace.
Yes.
But just consider that there are a ton of people that you can really lean into to get the information, and a ton of articles out there that can help you along the way.
Ask questions.
Constantly be curious. Curiosity is the best.
Thank you very much, Melissa. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys next time
Thank you.
on the next episode.